What drives someone to a particular career? Well, in many cases, it takes numerous false starts before a person can settle on the one thing that provides the perfect combination of expertise and passion. But for Dr. Mark Lynn, the decision was made a long time ago when he was still in high school in Owensboro, Kentucky, and he hasn't second-guessed himself since.
I've known since I was in ninth grade I wanted to be an optometrist. I went to Apollo High School, and in ninth grade we had career shadowing days. And I shadowed a doctor in Owensboro called Dr. Homer Ward. And from that point on, I knew that's what I wanted to be. Why? Really enjoyed the science piece of it, the medical piece of it, the healthcare piece of it, and the control that you get from really having your own practice.
He wanted to be an optometrist, and that's exactly what he is. But after starting his career with Dr. Beiser's Vision World in 1985, it quickly became apparent that his practice was destined to become far more than just one man in one office.
When I started with Dr. Beiser's, there were 2 locations in 1985. I became chief of staff in 1988, and I became a partner with the Beiser family in 91. In 92, we opened locations in Tennessee. Well, in 1998, after the death of Saul and Lou Beiser, Dr. Jerry Beiser, who was the owner and I was his partner, he decided to sell the practice, and I bought the practice from him in 1998. At that point, we had 19 locations. Well, through basically strategic partnerships and taking our concept and moving it forward, we've been able to grow to where just yesterday we opened 2 other locations, now 78 locations in 6 states. So where's the end? Where are we going? I don't know. There's no master plan that says I got to have 40 more open by the middle of next year. There's no magic number for what we have to hit. Does it make sense? Is it the right thing to do? That's really the essence.
Doing the right thing really is the secret of Mark Lynn's success. And to hear him tell it, it's really not all that complicated.
When you learn to listen to the patients, then you learn how to solve problems. So what most doctors get into a problem is believing they can solve the problem without listening to the patient. Sometimes you can, because you do know, you've been trained, but sometimes you got to listen. Sometimes patients just want you to listen, and they just want to be heard so they know you know. As I travel location to location, meet with the managers and the doctors, I have a very, very simple 3-point philosophy. As you're making decisions, always make your decision, number 1, first and foremost, do what's right for the patient. Number 2, do what's right for your staff. Don't worry about anything else. Patient comes first, those you work with come second. Then number 3, do what's right for the business. If you solve the first 2, the business wins.
It's a philosophy that not only served Dr. Lynn well through the years, but also one he successfully cultivated among his employees.
What you find in every store is that they enjoy that aspect of their job of helping people, of putting the customer or the person always first and not treating them just like a dollar sign coming in the door. They actually care about their needs and what they can do to help them.
But Mark Lynn's instinct to help doesn't just extend to his patients. He's also invested great time and resources in helping improve life for everyone in the community through a tremendous amount of civic and charitable involvement, including, but certainly not limited to, serving on the University of Louisville Board of Trustees, the Louisville Arena Authority, and as chairman of the Kentucky State Fair Board. But there's one group in particular that's number 1 in the hearts of the Lynn family. And when you hear him discuss it, you understand why.
The number 1 group that my wife and I are just near and dear to our hearts is the visually impaired preschool services. It's called VIPS. Think about having a child. You're a new mom and dad expecting that new baby, and all of a sudden your child's born and you're told, there's a problem. They're partially sighted, or maybe they're non-sighted. Now think about raising that child that can't see or has trouble seeing or trouble processing sight. How do you teach them to grab a rattle? How do you teach them to hold a bottle? How do you teach them anything? How do you know how to teach them? There are no federally funded programs till the kids get to school age. Visually impaired preschool services takes care of servicing that need, not just teaching the kids, but teaching the parents. And if you have a chance to go to the school and see the work that they do, it is just amazing. And it melts my heart every time I walk in the place.
Most recently, Dr. Lynn's civic generosity got a bit more publicity than usual when he and his wife Cindy donated the money that made the University of Louisville's new soccer stadium a reality. But even though they have their names on the stadium, knowing they've helped make the university a better place for everyone is much more important to them.
Obviously, his generosity has been over and above. But I like to compare Dr. Lynn to a person that's so important to me, that was so important to me in my life, and that was Owsley Frazier. And Dr. Lynn and Owsley Frazier have so many parallels. Their generosity comes from the heart. They don't do it because they want to see Dr. Mark Lynn plastered up on a building, or they want to see Owsley Frazier plastered up in the building. They do it because they want to see the student athletes have a much better experience. They want to do things that grow this university. They want to grow this community, and they always want to be a positive influence on all the people around them.
Know your business, do your job as excellently as possible, and always treat your community and the people in it with the utmost love and respect. That's a formula that led to Dr. Mark Lynn's great success, and all of us whose lives he's touched are better off as a result.
One of the things I admire most about him is how he cares about his family and puts his family first. He puts his employees first. He cares about them, and he's very benevolent. I mean, he cares about the community that he lives in. He remembers where he came from and how he got there, and I think that's what makes him such a successful business person.
He wants to be very successful because he's a very driven person. He's got great goals. He's very goal-oriented. He knows what he wants. He knows how to plan for what he wants. But the thing I like about him is how he cares for people. And I think that by caring for people so much, he's earned that enormous amount of respect. I think that's more important to me than power.
If our world had more Dr. Mark Lynn's, if Louisville, Kentucky had more Dr. Mark Lynn's, it would certainly be a much better place to live. The things that he does that people know about pale in comparison to the things that they don't know that he has done for this community, that I do because I'm lucky enough to consider myself a friend of his.
He's a gentle giant, and that's what I love about him. His heart is as big as this city itself, and I can't believe that a man like that could be as humble as he is.